I used to believe promises could save you. I said one to myself after everything burned. Never again, I whispered. Love ruined men like me. That night, staring at my cracked ceiling, I told my own heart, you fall again, you die again. And I meant it with absolute certainty. People think healing is loud. It isn't. It's quiet conversations with yourself. Don't trust, I warned me daily. Don't hope. I survived by keeping distance, smiling politely, leaving early, pretending I was fine while something inside me stayed permanently burned and broken without screaming or asking anyone for help ever. I'm telling you this because you should understand me. I'm not dramatic. I'm careful. Betrayal taught me that words lie, touch lies, even silence lies. I learned to listen to pain instead. Pain never pretends. Pain only tells the truth when everything else is dressed up as love or hope. I remember my friend once asked, "Are you lonely?" I laughed. "No," I said, "I'm free." That was easier than explaining how empty nights sound. Freedom doesn't echo like loneliness. It just sits there, heavy, waiting for you to notice the truth you keep avoiding every single quiet night alone. After the fire, I changed everything. New routines, new rules, no attachments. If someone leaned closer, I stepped back. If feelings grew, I buried them. Control is survival, I told myself. And control kept me breathing, even when happiness stayed far away from my reach, dreams and future hopes entirely. Sometimes I argued with myself out loud. "You're safe now," I'd say. Then I'd answer, "Safe isn't happy." The second voice always won. It reminded me how fast forever turns temporary, how fast a promise melts when heat returns, and leaves scars you keep touching years later alone, silent, awake. I didn't hate love. That's the truth. I feared it. Hate has energy. Fear just freezes you. I watched couples and felt nothing or pretended to. Inside, something small still whispered, "What if?" I crushed that voice every time before it grew louder than my defenses, rules, memories, pain, past. I tell you all this because tonight felt ordinary. No warnings, no signs. I locked my door, checked my phone, and sighed. "You're fine," I told myself. I believed it. For the first time in years, my chest felt calm and quiet, like nothing bad could reach me anymore somehow. I lay there thinking the promise had worked, that I'd beaten the fire, that I'd finally escaped love's gravity. "You're safe," I whispered again. I didn't know fate was already smiling. I didn't know my walls were about to meet her touch soon, softly, gently, without asking permission from me. I closed my eyes and smiled at the silence. "See?" I told myself. "Nothing hurts." The lie felt warm, comfortable, dangerous. I rested inside it, unaware how fragile peace can be, unaware that moments before impact always feel exactly like safety when you are finally convinced nothing will break again. If I had known what was coming, I would have stayed numb. I would have kept my promise tighter. But promises don't protect you. They only delay the pain. That night I believed I was done surviving. I believed the fire was behind me forever at last, completely, safely, finally, foolishly, blindly. I'm not proud of that belief now. But at the time, it felt earned. I had scars, I had rules, I had control. I thought that was enough. I thought love had lost its power over me. I was wrong. Completely, painfully, beautifully wrong in ways I couldn't imagine yet. This is where my story truly begins. Not with love, but with confidence in my defenses. I believed I was finally safe from falling. I believed nothing could reach me anymore. I was wrong. And that mistake was about to change everything I thought I knew about myself, love, forever. I didn't plan to meet her that day. I was just standing in line, staring at the menu, telling myself, "Order fast, leave faster." Then a voice beside me said, You're thinking too hard. Just pick something. I looked over. She smiled, not forced, not trying, just honest. I do that, I said. Overthink simple things. Me too, she replied. It's annoying, right? I nodded. It's exhausting. She laughed softly. I'm Lily. I stopped myself. I'm me. She raised an eyebrow. Mysterious already? More like cautious, I said. That's fair, she replied. Caution keeps people alive. Her words landed heavier than they should have. I paid, stepped aside, and thought, that's it. Walk away. Then she reached for sugar and our hands touched. It wasn't dramatic. No sparks. Just warmth. Real warmth. I pulled back instantly. Sorry, I said too fast. It's okay, she said. I don't bite. I wasn't worried about that, I replied. She tilted her head. Then what were you worried about? I didn't answer. I told myself, this is nothing. Don't react. But my chest disagreed. You're safe, I reminded myself. Don't forget the rules. She picked up her cup. So me, she said, smiling. Do you always escape conversations? I prefer exits, I said. Why? Because beginnings usually lie. She studied me. You sound like someone who learned that the hard way. Or the smart way, I said. Smart doesn't always mean healed, she replied. That annoyed me, not her. The truth. I didn't ask for therapy, I said. She laughed again. Relax. I'm bad at it anyway. We sat at opposite tables. I thought that would be the end. Then she spoke again. You don't look like someone who enjoys being alone, she said. I glanced up. Looks can lie. True, she said. But silence tells stories too. I stood. I should go. Of course, she said quickly. I didn't mean to push. You didn't, I lied. She hesitated. Can I ask one thing? I sighed. One. Why do you talk like you're already gone? That hit too close. Because leaving first hurts less, I said, before I could stop myself. She didn't smile this time. I know that feeling. That should have been my cue to leave. Instead, I sat back down. You do? She nodded. People think I'm warm because I listen. They don't realize I learned that by being ignored. I swallowed. That's not something you share with strangers. Neither is fear, she said, but you carry it openly. I laughed quietly. You're observant. Only because I'm broken too, she said. Silence stretched. Not awkward, heavy, familiar. I hated how comfortable it felt. This doesn't mean anything, I told myself. She's just someone passing through. She checked her phone. I should go, she said. Yeah, I replied too quickly. She stood, then paused. It was nice meeting you, me. You too, I said. She took a step, then turned back. For what it's worth, I hope you stop running. I watched her leave. My chest felt tight. She means nothing, I whispered. Nothing at all. But my hand still remembered her touch. And that was already too much. I didn't plan for it to happen slowly, but it did. One coffee turned into two, then into nights where Lily asked, Why do you always sit near the door? I shrugged and said, Old habit. She smiled and replied, You're always ready to leave. I answered, I like options. She said softly, So do I. We kept meeting without naming it. She said, This feels easy, and I said, Easy usually ends badly. She laughed and replied, You really don't trust happiness, do you? I said, Happiness left once. She didn't push. She just said, Then let me sit with you while you wait. I told myself I was just passing time. Still, I found myself saving her seat. She noticed and said, You remembered. I replied, Don't read into it. She smiled and said, I already did. That scared me. I said, I'm not good at staying. She answered, I'm not asking you to promise. One night she asked, "What broke you?" I stayed quiet too long. "You don't have to," she added. I said, "Someone I trusted burned everything." She nodded. "I won't ask who." I whispered, "Thank you." She replied, "Trust starts small." That's when I brought Ryan up. "My best friend will hate this," I joked. Lily asked why. I said, "Because he thinks I'm fragile." She smiled. "Are you?" I answered, "I'm careful." She said, "There's a difference." Ryan met her the next day. He said, "So you're the reason he's smiling?" Lily replied, "I didn't know that was rare." Ryan looked at me. "Don't rush," he warned. Then he smiled and added, "But don't run either." I said, "I'm trying." Lily squeezed my arm. After that, everything softened. Lily wore my jacket when it got cold and said, "It smells like safety." I joked, "It's just detergent." She replied, "No, it's you." I didn't argue. I wanted to. I just didn't. Instead, I said, "Stay a little longer." Late at night, she asked, "Do you believe in forever?" I laughed. I promised myself I wouldn't. She said, "Promises can change." I said, "They shouldn't." She replied, "Maybe they're meant to." My chest felt warm and terrified. I told myself that this is dangerous. Still, I chose her. I said, "I want to try." Lily whispered, "So do I." I believed her. I believed us. I believed the future could be rewritten. I forgot that belief is blind. I forgot that forever sometimes starts as an illusion before it becomes a lesson. Ryan pulled me aside later. "You're different," he said. I asked, "Is that bad?" He shook his head. "Just don't lose yourself." I replied, "I already did once." He said, "Then protect what's left." I nodded, pretending I understood how fragile happiness really was. Lily held my hand after that and said, "I'm not here to hurt you." I answered, "Everyone says that." She squeezed tighter. "Then let me prove it." I looked at her and said, "I'm scared." She replied, "Me too." Somehow that felt like honesty instead of fear. I went home that night smiling like an idiot. "You're falling," I told myself. "No," I argued back. "I'm choosing." The difference mattered to me then. I didn't see the cracks forming. I didn't hear the quiet footsteps of betrayal behind my happiness. Lying in bed, I whispered, "Forever might be real." The room didn't answer. My phone buzzed. Lily texted, "Sleep well." I typed, "You too." Then I added, "I'm glad I met you." She replied, "I'm glad you stayed." I closed my eyes. Unaware shadows grow closest to light. That was the night I chose love over fear. I broke my promise without realizing it. I thought forever was something you decide together. I didn't know forever can break quietly. I slept believing in tomorrow. Unaware betrayal was already learning my name, my habits, my trust, and my heart. I smiled into darkness and felt safe again. This time is different, I promised myself. The lie felt gentle. It tucked me in. Somewhere far away, consequences were waking up, stretching slowly, waiting patiently for the moment my illusion finally shattered completely. Without warning, mercy, without love, without escape, without forgiveness, I didn't expect the door to be unlocked. I knocked once, then pushed it open, already smiling, already planning to say her name. The laugh I heard wasn't hers alone, it was his. "Lily," I said. Silence cracked. Then her voice shaking. "I can explain." Ryan stood there frozen. My best friend suddenly a stranger. He didn't look at me. He said nothing. That hurt more than words. I asked quietly, "How long?" Lily cried, "Please." I laughed, but it came out broken. That wasn't the question. Ryan finally spoke. "It just happened." I nodded slowly. So did my trust. Lily reached for me. I never meant to hurt you. I stepped back. You did. Ryan said, Man, I swear. Don't, I cut in. Don't swear to me. My chest burned. My hands shook. Old memories rushed in, screaming, reminding me why I built walls. I told myself, never again, I whispered. Lily sobbed, I love you. I looked at her. No, you loved the way I made you feel. Ryan whispered my name. I didn't answer. I stared at the floor because if I looked at him, I would lose what little control I had left. I asked, was any of it real? Lily nodded desperately. Yes, I smiled sadly. Then this hurts even more. Ryan said, I didn't plan this. I replied, neither did I. My heart felt small, crushed, familiar. I remembered the promise I made after the fire. I remembered how proud I was of surviving. I was stupid, I told myself. Lily said, Ian, please don't leave. I answered honestly. I already have. She cried harder. Ryan finally looked at me. Shame filled his eyes. I'm sorry, he said. I nodded. I know. That was the worst part. I knew. I knew before I walked in. My body felt it. I just didn't want to believe it. I walked past them. Lily called my name. I didn't turn around. Every step felt heavy, like my feet were sinking into memories. Outside, the night felt cold. I leaned against the wall and breathed. You're okay, I told myself. You've survived worse. But I hadn't. Not like this. This was quieter, deeper. This cut without blood. I thought about Lily's touch, the warmth, the lie. I thought about Ryan's warnings, his smiles, his silence now. You let me fall, I whispered. I straightened up and walked away. I didn't cry, I didn't scream. I just felt empty. As I left, one thought echoed in my head. Forever isn't real. And this time I believed it. I stopped answering everything, messages, calls, memories. I told myself silence was strength. If I don't speak, I can't break, I said. Days passed, nobody knocked, nobody fought for me. That hurt more than yelling ever could. I deleted her number first, then his. My hands shook. This is survival, I whispered. The room felt louder without them. Every object accused me, her mug, his hoodie. I sat on the floor and laughed. So this is strength? I asked myself. Silence didn't heal me. It exposed me. Every breath reminded me I was still here, still unwanted, still breathing, while something inside me stayed dead. I waited for pain to scream, but it only stared back at me, quiet and patient, like it had time to finish me slowly, completely. Emma showed up without asking. You look terrible, she said. I replied, Good. She hugged me anyway. I stood stiff. Don't, I warned. I'll fall apart. She answered, That's the point. I broke. I told her everything without names. She listened without fixing. You're not weak, she said. You're hurt. I snapped. Same thing. She shook her head. No, weakness quits. You're still standing. I wanted to disappear. Make it stop, I whispered. She said, I can't, but I can stay. I cried until my chest burned and my voice vanished into nothing. She never judged me once. I hated myself for needing her and loved her for not leaving. That contradiction kept me alive that night longer than pride ever did, and scared me deeply at the time then. After she left, I deleted photos, one by one, smiling lies. I boxed gifts. Returned the watch. The jacket. I stared at my phone. Say something? A voice begged. I answered, no. Silence felt violent. I asked myself, does karma exist? The room answered nothing. I wondered if pain was all there was. Am I cursed? I asked aloud. No reply. I lay there thinking survival was punishment. Breathing felt unfair. Loving felt criminal. I promised nothing to anyone. I only stayed alive because Emma asked me to. That night stretched endlessly, and I realized disappearing was harder than facing morning. I didn't want revenge yet, I just wanted the pain to sleep. But it stayed awake, watching me breathe slowly until exhaustion won briefly before grief returned again silently. Morning came. Emma texted, "Eat." I replied, "No." She answered, "Try." I did. It tasted like nothing. I told myself, "You survived." A voice answered, "Barely." I didn't hate Lily. I hated myself. I hated believing. I hated breaking promises. "Choose yourself," Emma said later. I asked, "How?" She replied, "By staying." I wasn't ready to forgive. I wasn't ready to fight. I was ready to exist. Silence stayed loud, but I stayed alive. I realized survival wasn't heroic. It was stubborn and humiliating, and that truth hurt. I questioned whether pain ever ends or if you just learn to carry it. Emma believed I could, and for now that belief replaced mine. I sat quietly, choosing breath over destruction 1 second at a time until night returned again slowly. I woke up one morning and said, "Enough." Not loud, not brave, just tired. I looked in the mirror and told myself, "You can bleed forever, or you can build." My reflection didn't answer, but it didn't argue either. That felt like permission. I went to work early and stayed late. When my hands shook, I said, "Focus." When memories crept in, I said, "Later." Pain didn't leave, it just stopped driving. That's when I met Mr. Carter. He watched me work and said, "You're angry." I replied, "I'm motivated." He smiled. Same fuel, different direction. I didn't like him immediately. He saw too much. He asked, "What do you want?" I answered, "Control." He nodded. "Then earn it." He pushed me harder than anyone had. "Discipline isn't punishment," he said. "It's protection." I told him, "I don't have time for feelings." He replied, "Good. Feel them later. Work now." Something clicked. I stopped asking why things happened. I started asking what I could do next. Emma noticed. "You're quieter," she said. I answered, "I'm listening to myself." She smiled carefully. "That's new." I shrugged. I got tired of losing. She hugged me and whispered, "I'm proud of you." That mattered more than I expected. I didn't check Lily's social media. I didn't ask about Ryan. Still, things reached me. A mutual friend said, "They argue a lot." I replied, "That's not my business." And it wasn't. I felt nothing hearing it. That scared me more than pain. Am I empty? I asked myself. A calmer voice answered, "You're healing." Mr. Carter said, "Power is quiet." I asked, "How do I know if I'm changing?" He replied, "You stop needing apologies." That hit hard. I didn't want their regret anymore. I wanted my future. That realization felt heavier than revenge ever could. One night I almost texted Lily. My thumb hovered. "Say something," a voice begged. I said out loud, "No." I put the phone down. My chest hurt, but I stood still. That was new. Pain knocked. I didn't open the door. Work became routine. Routine became strength. Strength became confidence. Mr. Carter said, "You're building something." I asked, "What?" He answered, "A man who doesn't break easily." I thought about that all night. Emma asked, "Do you miss her?" I said, "Sometimes." She nodded. "That's human." I added, "But I don't want her." Saying it felt final, clean, honest. I wasn't angry anymore. I was focused. I heard Ryan quit his job. I heard Lily stopped smiling. I didn't celebrate. I didn't feel justice. I felt distance. Is this karma? I wondered. Maybe. Or maybe it was just consequences. Either way, it wasn't mine to manage. Mr. Carter said, "You're different." I replied, "I chose differently." He smiled. That's power. I realized then that revenge keeps you tied to the past. Growth cuts the rope. I chose to walk forward. That night I slept deeply for the first time in months. No dreams, no ghosts, just rest. Pain was still there when I woke up, but it sat quietly in the corner. I nodded at it and said, "You don't own me anymore." I didn't become happy overnight, I became stable, and stability felt stronger than joy ever had. I chose power over pain, quietly, completely, without witnesses, without applause. And for the first time since the fire, I trusted myself to survive whatever came next alone. I heard through someone else that Ryan's job was gone. "What happened?" I asked my sister. Emma shrugged. "Bad decisions, he wasn't careful." I nodded slowly. "Figures." I didn't feel satisfaction. I felt nothing. Maybe that was the point. A week later, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I froze. "Can we talk?" "Lily?" I stared at the screen. My chest tightened. My thumb hovered. "Why now?" I whispered. I didn't answer. I put the phone down and went back to work. Focus was my only shield. Sophia entered my life the next day at the gym. She asked, "Is this seat taken?" I looked up, calm eyes, warm smile, nothing demanding. "No," I said. She nodded, sat, and we started talking. "Do you come here often?" I asked. "Not really," she said. "But when I do, I like routine. Comfort." I smirked. "I avoid routine." "Maybe you just need better company," she replied lightly. I chuckled. Something inside me relaxed. I didn't need to explain myself. I didn't need to impress. She didn't push. She listened. Later she said, "You don't seem like someone who rushes." "Wrong," I said. "I rush in the wrong ways." She nodded. "Then take your time now." It was strange. I didn't feel the pull, the danger, the chaos, just calm. That calm was heavier than excitement. Meanwhile, Lily sent another text. "I see you're moving on. I didn't mean to hurt you so badly. The words stopped me cold. But I didn't reply. Silence was easier than lies. Sophia laughed across the table. "You look like you've seen a ghost." "Just old ghosts," I muttered. She smiled. "Then leave them there. They can't follow you if you don't invite them." I didn't answer immediately. She was right. Every reminder of Lily or Ryan had lost its power. I realized I could walk past without collapsing. That was new. A week later, Ryan called me. I thought he messed up. I said nothing. Emma said, "Say something." I replied, "Nothing to say." He hung up. Good. That was enough. Karma didn't need my help. Sophia became my constant quiet. "Coffee tomorrow?" she asked. I smiled. "Sure." She wasn't pushy, wasn't impulsive. She simply existed. And that was enough. Lily watched from afar, I'm sure. Mutual friends dropped hints. "She asks after you." I didn't look. I didn't care. I had no space for regret from anyone else, only the space I chose. One evening, my phone buzzed again. "Lily, can we meet?" One last time. I held the phone in my hand and stared at it. My heart ticked faster than I wanted it to. My thumb hovered. I could delete it. I could ignore it. I could... Nothing. I whispered, "You had your chance." Sophia leaned over my shoulder, noticing the message. "Everything okay?" I smiled faintly. "Better than ever." She nodded. "Then don't let old storms shake you." I typed nothing. I put the phone down. Lily could wait. Or not. That didn't matter anymore. My life was mine, and I wouldn't chase chaos. I looked at Sophia, calm, steady, gentle. "Let's go get coffee," I said. She smiled. That smile was safe, unforced. I realized something I hadn't allowed myself to feel in years. I could trust again. Slowly, carefully, on my terms. Lily could see it all from afar. Regret dripping, Ryan struggling. But it wasn't my responsibility. Karma doesn't knock. It waits. and I was done waiting for it to arrive in my life. I took a deep breath. "This is enough," I whispered, and for the first time silence didn't feel empty. It felt like victory. The coffee shop smelled like burnt sugar and new beginnings. I spotted her before she saw me. "Lily." I took a deep breath and said quietly, "You asked to meet." She nodded, eyes down. I needed to." I motioned to a chair. "Sit." She hesitated, then she sat. Neither of us spoke for a moment. The silence was heavy but necessary. "I'm sorry," she started, voice trembling. "For everything. I never meant—" "Stop," I said gently. "I don't need excuses." She swallowed. "I should have never—" "I know," I said. "You don't get a do-over. You lost that chance." Tears welled in her eyes. "I was selfish. I hurt you. And I thought I could fix it later, but I can't. Not really." I nodded, letting her words land. "You can't fix what you broke. Not with words." "I see that now," she whispered. "I saw you moving on." And I panicked. I thought, maybe I could— "You can't," I interrupted softly. "I'm not the same man anymore. I'm not the one you left behind." She blinked, swallowing hard. You changed?" "Yes," I said. "I healed. I built myself up. I chose stability, power over pain. I don't need you anymore. I never needed you to begin with." Her hands trembled on the table. "I thought we had forever. I thought—" "Forever was never yours to give," I said. "It's mine to decide, and I decided without you a long time ago." She lowered her head. Quiet. Broken. "I see that now. I understand. I lost you." "Yes," I said. "You did." She looked up then, vulnerability in her eyes. "Do you hate me?" I shook my head. "No. Hate is wasted energy. I've used mine on survival already. I don't have any left for you." Her lips quivered. "And Ryan?" I smiled faintly. "Not my problem anymore. He lives with his choices. You live with yours. We all do." Silence stretched again. She tried one last time. "So, can we— maybe—" I held up a hand. "No. Closure isn't negotiation. I'm done. You've had your lesson." Her shoulders slumped. "I see. You're stronger than I imagined." "I had to be," I said, "because if I waited for you, I'd be broken forever, and I'm not broken anymore." She nodded, tears falling freely. "I understand. I'm sorry. I truly am." "I know," I said, "and that's enough. Not for me, but for you to finally realize what you lost." She stood slowly. I hope you're happy." "I am," I replied. "Happier than I've ever been. And that happiness isn't because of you. It's because I chose myself." She swallowed, whispered, "Goodbye," and walked away. I watched her leave and felt nothing like the old pain. Not anger, not longing, not regret, just relief. The weight of betrayal lifted. Karma had quietly finished its work, and I was free. I touched the empty chair she left behind. "Closure," I murmured. "Finally." The sun hit my face as I stepped outside. I breathed deeply, feeling alive. Nothing would pull me back. Nothing could shake me now. The past was gone. I had everything I needed in the present. And for the first time in years, I smiled, not because of someone else, but because of myself. I sit by the window, coffee in hand, watching the world move without me rushing. Sophia leans on my shoulder, quiet, steady, the kind of presence that doesn't demand anything. I tell her, "I think I finally understand who I am." She smiles. "And who is that?" "I'm someone who survived," I say. "Someone who fell, burned, and still got up. Someone who doesn't need validation from anyone but me." She nods. "That's a rare kind of strength." "I used to think strength was revenge," I admit, "or proving them wrong, or showing Lily or Ryan what they lost. I wasted months on that. Did it teach you anything? She asked softly. I shrug. Pain teaches more than pride ever could. But I don't let it run me anymore. Emma called yesterday. She laughed and said, "You sound like yourself again." I told her, "I feel like someone new." New doesn't mean forgetting, Sophia said. No, I agreed. I remember. I carry it differently now. It's not weight, it's experience. And experience made me careful, but it also made me brave. Brave enough to feel again, but careful enough not to break myself. I sip my coffee. I promised myself I'd never fall again. I say quietly. I built walls, ran from trust, avoided happiness. Sophia leans closer. And now? Now falling doesn't scare me, I answer. Because I know what weakness feels like, and I know what strength feels like. Falling isn't weakness. Losing yourself is. I never want to lose myself again. She smiles and squeezes my hand. You won't. I glance at her. Calm, gentle, present. I could fall with her. Slowly, carefully, without fear. But the victory I feel isn't just love. Love is a part of it, yes, but it's secondary. The main triumph is me, standing after years of chaos, betrayal, and fire. You're quiet today, she observes. I'm reflecting, I say, thinking about the man I was, the man I became. The one who believed promises could save him then learned that only self-respect does. She laughs softly. You've earned every bit of peace you have now. Peace isn't given, I reply. It's built, brick by brick, lesson by lesson. Betrayal taught me caution. Karma taught me patience. Pain taught me endurance. And love. Love taught me that safety can exist in someone else without losing myself. I reach for my phone and see a text from Lily. It's still unread. I stare at it, then delete it. Closure isn't revenge, I whisper to myself. It's freedom. Sophia asks, Do you forgive them? I do, I answer. Not because they deserve it, but because I deserve peace. Holding on to anger would mean I failed myself again. She smiles and rests her head lightly on my shoulder. I realize I've never felt this calm before. The weight of the past is gone, replaced by awareness and pride. I say aloud, I am the man I promised myself I could become. Broken, yes, but rebuilt. Cautious, yes, but alive. Strong, yes, but human. Sophia laughs quietly. Sounds like someone ready for the future. I nod. I am, and I'll meet it with my own rules, my own strength. I no longer fear falling because I trust myself. Falling is learning. Losing yourself is the real danger. I've learned that now. I take her hand, squeeze it. I once promised myself I'd never fall again, I say, voice low but steady. But now I know, falling isn't weakness. Losing yourself is. And I will never do that again. Sophia smiles. Then you've truly won. I nod. Quietly, inside, I feel victorious. Not over anyone else, but over the past, over my fears, over everything that tried to keep me broken. For the first time in years, I breathe freely, unguarded, alive, whole. And I am the man I became.